Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing so far? I hope good. Guys, I wanted to discuss this one movie that I've just been watching over and over a couple of times, it seems like, over the past few days, and I've really liked it. It's an older movie. It is 2001's Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg. And there is one scene that I really wanted to discuss because I just thought it was very touching. But I guess I better give some context to everything just in case before I start up. All right. So in this movie, the ice caps have melted around the world, I'm guessing, per se. It's caused a lot of rising seas to pretty much take over a bunch of different cities like New York, Venice, different main ones. So it's pretty much has displaced a lot of people. And so the government has decided in this movie to pretty much limit the idea of people to have children. You have to have licenses in order to even have a child. So they've introduced pretty much mechas, which are basically like droids, android-like people, to help out with things because they don't take up any resources as far as food goes. Because there's a lot of hungry people in this type of movie. It seems like there's a lot of people that are not really doing so awesome. But for this particular story right here, the movie focuses on a husband and wife. The husband's name is Henry, and the wife's name is Monica. It shows them going to a hospital to go to visit their son named Martin, and he's been in coma for 5 years. And Monica goes there to constantly go ahead to read to him, basically, just trying to keep his memory alive and just trying to wait for that possible day for him to come out of coma. But the doctor is discussing things with the husband named Henry, and the doctor's telling him that Martin's condition may be too advanced for them to try to bring him back, and that they need to go ahead and accept the fact that he's basically dead, and that he's trying to encourage Henry to focus more so on his wife, Monica, and to try to help her to get past the idea of Martin being gone. But Henry works for a company called Cybertronics, and there is an inventor that is actually working on a specific type of robot that has the ability to love unconditionally. So they decide to go ahead, this company decides to go through the roster of their employees that might be a good candidate for this type of operation. And they decide to go ahead and go along with Henry because of the situation with his son. So they choose him. They talk to Henry about the situation, and Henry brings home the robot, which is David, the first ever mecha to ever love unconditionally. And he brings this idea to Monica, brings David to the house. And of course, Monica at first is very opposed to the idea. She doesn't like the idea of their biological son being replaced by anything. And she freaks out about it at first. But because David is such a lifelike type of being, and physically he looks exactly like a human. I mean, you have to go up close to even try to figure out if he's actually real or not. But here's the thing with this type of robot, with David, it's a mecha, is that there is a imprinting process that has to happen for for the unconditional love to actually take place. The mother has to basically read a certain type of coded language, a coded type of words, while placing her hand behind David's neck and repeat these type of lines to him in order to get the imprinting process to get going for him to activate his love for her. And for a little bit, she tries to withhold doing it. She tries to get used to David, but, it's kind of creepy at first. But then as time goes on, she decides to finally go ahead and start the imprinting process. And she does do this because before she does this, David is only addressing her as Monica, just simply as Monica. But once Monica actually does the imprinting process, says the coded words, puts the hand behind his neck. After she says these words to him, he asks her, what were those words, Mommy? And as soon as he says that, she's completely taken back because she hasn't heard that in a while. Someone call her Mommy. And so there we go. There we go, right there. So as time goes on, it shows another scene, and it shows Henry and Monica getting ready to go. They're getting ready to go to like a party, it seems. And it shows Monica getting all dressed and everything, and she's putting on this perfume. And then Henry comes up to her and says, "I love this perfume that you wear." He says, "Too bad you chose a perfume that has such a low stock on it. That's not too much of it around." And they go ahead and start getting ready to go. And Monica asks David to follow them on out. But David stays upstairs and stuff a little bit. And Monica goes downstairs with Henry. They're about to leave, but then she says, "Wait, I want to say something to David." And David comes downstairs a little bit and says, "Do I smell lovely?" And Monica instantly knows what happened. She runs right back upstairs real quick. Henry's downstairs. And it shows the bottle of perfume has been pretty much used because David was trying to copy her and trying to smell good too. So she's kind of sitting there a little bit dismayed, a little bit disappointed, sitting down in a chair in front of the mirror in her bathroom, just looking at it. And then David decides to ask Monica something. He asks his mommy something. He says, "Mommy, will you die?" And Monica slowly says, "One day, David, yes, I will." David has a worried look on his face of like sadness, and he says, "I'll be alone." Monica tells him, "Don't worry yourself so." Then David comes up to her and kneels down and puts his head on her lap and looks up at her and says, "Mom, how long will you live?" Monica says to him, says, "For ages, for 50 years. David all of a sudden starts to whisper to her, looks up to her and says, "I love you, Mommy. I hope you never die. Never." So when she hears that, she looks back up in the mirror and she's thinking to herself, she's feeling a bit of guilt, a bit of sadness, because she sees that, yes, David indeed does love her unconditionally, but she's still struggling with the idea of loving him back because of his artificial intelligence, him not being a quote-unquote real person. And she still is upset about her son being basically gone. But at the same time, she realizes that David needs something more than what she can give him at that time. She's not fully investing into the love between her and David. So she does something really neat. It shows her going to a closet and grabbing out this box. It's like a rounded type of like yellowish, greenish box. And she takes it over to a table. And she looks over at David and she says, this is my son. This belonged to my son. Well, her biological son, Martin. And she pulls out this teddy bear. It looks like an ordinary teddy bear, but no, it's not just an ordinary teddy bear. In fact, it is a robotic AI-controlled teddy bear that's full of sentience, that can make decisions of its own, that can stay completely faithful to whoever it is it's paired to. This robot is amazing. He can stand up on his own. He can do things. He can make expressions with his face. His appearance is like a light brown, really curly type of like fur all over his body, and then white spots like on his face and then on his chest as well too. And he starts to stand up and looks over at Monica, and Monica says, David, this is Teddy. Teddy, this is David. Introduces both of them. and they both say hi. But, you know, the nice thing about this is that it harkens back to basically Greek mythology. You know what I'm saying? Because David, the robot, is pretty much the main protagonist of the said story. And in Greek mythology, the protagonist is always given some type of tool, some type of mentor, somebody that can offer a voice of reasoning, somebody can offer a conscience, somebody that can offer a shoulder to cry on when things get tough. And Monica knew that there was an emotional barrier between her and David. And so she decided to go ahead and gift her former son's toy to him, basically, as a way to help guide him, to give him a companion, somebody that he can rely on, and not just simply Monica. And the nice thing about the teddy bear, his name is Teddy, by the way. Yeah, Teddy. I think I mentioned that. Teddy has such a sentient mind. He's able to remember things. He's able to suggest things, remember things. He's not a forgetful type of robot. And on top of that, he's not just a full child type of personality like David, because David is taking on the personality of an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old. But Teddy is more so a person that is wise, someone like late 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, something like that, but still not condescending, a person that's wise, but is understanding towards a child, which is exactly what David needs. And it's almost like a perfect union in between the both of them. You know what I mean? And so David really appreciates Teddy, and he does view him as a friend. He doesn't view him as just some type of toy. He views him as a fellow friend. And that's exactly what the mom was trying to do. Even though she was still emotionally detached in some way, shape, or form, she still felt the need to give David some type of companion, something to kind of take his mind off the idea of her dying, someone that can give him some type of guidance and not be mean towards him, but somebody who can accept him for who he is. So that type of scene really stuck out to me, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason why I wanted to go ahead and talk about it a little bit. You should really give it a chance to try. I don't know if you like tearjerkers, but this is a really good movie. Yeah, it's called Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg, year 2001. If you want to watch it, I don't know how many of you guys got Paramount Plus, but it's on there. You can watch it on there. And you can watch it in other places too, but you might have rented or whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you, it's so good. It holds up even to this day. And it's even more relevant to this day because we got AI taking over a lot of different things. There's so much going on, ladies and gentlemen. This movie was way ahead of its time. I would say that. But I hope it wasn't too much of a mouthful. I hope you guys were able to kind of follow along what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, that scene really did touch me quite a bit. But anyways, I hope everyone has a lovely night, okay? Have a good day. Bye-bye.